So, what happens when an auditor who's totally tied up by conflict of interest rules stumbles upon a software creator who's unknowingly built the perfect fix for their biggest headache? Well, we're about to find out. Let's break down how one simple business meeting sparked a really incredible partnership.
Okay, so here's our game plan. We're going to start with the professional wall this auditor was hitting. Then we'll look at the amazing software that was built to solve a completely different problem. And then the best part, the aha moment that brought them together. From there, we'll dive into the business opportunities that popped up and figure out the key lessons we can all take away from this perfect win-win situation. It's a tough spot to be in, right? You've got the know-how, you can see exactly what needs to be done to help, but professional ethics have your hands completely tied. Well, this exact dilemma, that's the pressure cooker that sets the whole stage for our story.
All right, let's step into the shoes of a qualified security assessor, or a QSA for short. You can think of these folks as, digital detectives. Their job is to audit companies for PCI data security, basically making sure our credit card info stays safe whenever we buy something. It's a pretty high-stakes world. So during these audits, they see it all the time. Their clients are just struggling. They're disorganized, they're overwhelmed, and they clearly need some hands-on help to get their house in order. But there's this one critical professional rule that stops them dead in their tracks.
And this one line, this sums up the entire problem. Auditors are forbidden from giving consulting advice to the same companies they audit. It's a hard and fast rule, and it's there to make sure they stay impartial. But what it does is create this massive gap where they can see the problem clear as day, but they're not allowed to offer the cure. Now, let's flip over to the other side of this wall, because at the exact same time, an innovator was creating the perfect key for this lock. And the crazy part is, he wasn't trying to solve the auditor's problem. He was solving his own, because he had lived through the client's struggle himself.
This wasn't some idea dreamed up in a fancy boardroom. Nope. This thing was forged in the fire of real-world experience. He was right there in the trenches, seeing the absolute chaos of the compliance process, and he just decided, you know what? I'm going to build something to fix this.
And here's the crucial part. This tool wasn't built for the auditors at all. It was built for their clients. It's designed to give companies the power to manage their own compliance all year long, turning what's normally a messy, stressful scramble into a structured, manageable project. So how does it do it? Well, it really boils down to 3 key stages. First, it helps companies actually implement all the controls they need. Second, it gives them a way to maintain everything on an ongoing basis. And third, it helps them manage their scope, making sure all their asset lists are up to date. It basically simplifies the entire thing from start to finish.
And this, right here, is where our 2 stories crash into each other. The auditor is sitting in a routine software demo. He sees this tool for the first time, and you can just imagine the light bulb going off over his head. That's the aha moment, when this huge, complex problem meets a simple, elegant solution he never saw coming. Suddenly, the software becomes this perfect, neutral bridge. The auditor can now recommend this tool. He's not consulting, he's just pointing them to something that can help them get organized. It empowers the client without breaking a single conflict of interest rule. It doesn't just help the situation, it completely solves his professional dilemma. And that's the real magic of it. It's a win for everybody. The client gets organized, they feel in control. The auditor gets a client who's actually prepared for the audit with all the data and evidence laid out perfectly. It makes the auditor's job, and he said it himself, a lot easier. The whole process just gets streamlined for everyone.
So when you have a win-win that's this clear, this obvious, the conversation naturally starts to change. It's not just about a cool product anymore. It's about the massive potential for a real strategic partnership.
So how do you actually turn this great idea into a real business partnership? Well, it all starts with a super simple, accessible entry point, a base price for one client to manage one assessment. There's no big, scary upfront cost, which is absolutely key to getting people to try it out. But here's where the model gets really smart. It's built to scale. You need to manage another assessment for a client? No problem, it's just a small add-on. Need to get more people from the team on the platform? Easy. It's designed to grow right along with you, whether you're one company or a consultant juggling a dozen clients.
And because the model is so flexible, it opens the door for 3 clear levels of teamwork. It can start super simple, just a basic referral, but then it can grow into content marketing. Maybe the auditor features the tool in an online course, And from there, it can become a full-blown strategic alliance where they're working together to find new business all over the world.
So let's zoom out. What's the big lesson here? Beyond this one story, what are the essential ingredients that made this partnership just click so perfectly? It really comes down to this blueprint. First, you had a real, clearly defined problem in the industry. Second, you had a solution that came from genuine first-hand experience, not just some theory. Third, this created a value proposition that was undeniable for everybody involved. The client, the auditor, and the software creator all won. And the final piece? It was all backed up by a flexible partnership model that could start small and grow huge. And that's the question I want to leave you with. Because what this story really shows us is that sometimes the most powerful collaborations aren't about inventing something totally new. They're about finding a smart, elegant way to build a bridge over a gap that everyone else has just been trying to walk around. So where's your bridge just waiting to be built?